This is the latest budget smartwatch fitness tracker entry from Mobboy, the TICWATCH GTH. And looking at this, where have I seen this before? Well, I guess the GTH is yet another addition to the played out Apple Watch-like design club, for better or for worse. But this is new, and Mobboy was nice enough to send me a unit to look at, and they promised that this has features that many higher end models have for only $80, such as oxygen saturation sensing, stress level detection, and something new I've never seen before at this price range is a temperature sensor. Which means this is where Gear Up comes in to find out if these claims are true or not, and whether this is worth your time. Pun intended. Let's find out after these messages. That way. Alright, as usual, we're gonna hit up the specs first before we take a closer look at the watch itself. So this Raven Black GTH costs $80, and up front it has a 1.55-inch TFT LCD touchscreen, and I don't know what kind of scratch protection it has, but it's not very good, so make sure you slap a glass protector pronto right out of the box. Now, it weighs 48 grams with straps, and there's also 5 ATM water resistance, so it's ideal for a dunk in a pool. Battery life is claimed to be 10 days from the factory, although I managed only 8.5 days with all notifications on, and also adding to that 1 45-minute long activity track per day, plus the usual heart rate, breathing, oxygen saturation, and temperature readings twice a day. So that's not bad, all said and done. There are also 14 trackable activities with auto tracking for running and walking. And what the GTH doesn't have, and some of you may care about this, is it doesn't have GPS, an ambient light sensor, speakers or mics, or any kind of Wi-Fi connectivity. This watch, I'll tell you what guys, is one of the better Apple Watch clones out there. It's really well put together, nice aluminum frame that mates well with the glass, the curvature of the glass. The button press on the crown is pretty good too. It doesn't do anything when you rotate it. The PU strap is nice and soft and supple. The only knock I'll have is the free loop right here. I'm not sure why the front and rear edges are so sharp. They're kind of rough and it chaves my skin quite frequently. So sure, without this I can wear, if I change out the strap, I can wear this watch pretty much hours or all day and be comfortable, but it's really this free loop that's my problem. So if you own one of these, let me know if you have the same problem or if it's just my unit. One thing interesting though is throughout the watch there's no Mobboy or TICWATCH branding anywhere. I don't see any kind of logo, even on the free loop sometimes they have it hidden here, or even at the buckle, which is metal by the way. I don't see this, so this is interesting. The only place that you find the Mobboy is right here printed on the bottom cap. At the back of the watch is the sensor array module, and it sits about 0.5 millimeter away from the body, and I wish the transition between the glass and the aluminum frame was a little bit smoother, because as it is, it has a sharper edge than I would like, and so when it's on your wrist, it creates an indentation deeper than what I've seen in other watches. But that being said, it does spread out its weight pretty well thanks partly to its lightness and also the size of the disc itself. So, you know, just take it for what it's worth. And as you can see from the number of sensors here, and you probably heard about this too, is this watch can take a buttload of health measurements from PPG to SPO² readings, skin temperature as well. Here's a skin temperature sensor, stress level checks, and also aside from your usual heart rate, sleep, and step tracking. So that's a whole caboodle. Right here's the sender unit, both above and below, and the receiver is right here. And the charging contact is right here, and it mates with the proprietary charger. It's about 2 feet long, and it's kind of weak sauce, but you know, for this price, this is pretty much standard fare. The UI layout is pretty straightforward. For example, if you swipe down, you get to quick settings where you can turn on do not disturb, adjust screen brightness and such. If you tap the crown, it takes you back to the home screen. You swipe from the bottom, it takes you to notifications. You cannot read any of the messages, unfortunately. You just get notified for whatever app gets a notification. So when you read it, so to speak, or acknowledge it, you can hit delete, or you can do it all together when you scroll to the bottom, and then you can delete all, and then you see no notifications. Now back to the home screen. If you swipe left or right, it's a carousel right here. You just go between like all your fitness trackers and also your daily summary of sleep, as well as your health management and such. Now back to the home screen. If you just tap the crown right here once, it'll take you to some of the main functions, like you can check out your notifications, your tick exercise, tick health, and also your usual timer and such like that. You also can control your music in case you're wondering, and that's really all to it, really to the UI. Scrolling and navigating, as you can see, is pretty decent, although it does take you, you have to wait a tick or two get it? Before it catches up with your finger swipes, but it's not bad for the price at all. If I were to summarize the Mobvoi app in this GTH guys anyway, it would be that it looks nice, but it's a little bit convoluted and missing key things like how the heck do I set up weather, for example. I don't see it anywhere, and therefore weather info on my watch is like to this day blank. It's not anywhere at the bottom or any of the settings. And the other thing is, in order to enter my physical profile, I don't tap on this person icon on the bottom right here, that's account, but I have to access the fitness page here and tap the other person icon on the top right here to do that. It's kind of weird. But anyway, at the top of the main screen, let's go back there. At the top of the main screen, you see the battery level and the connection status. And tapping anywhere in the motion or 24-hour health box here will take you to a more detailed view of your daily data. And like many watches of this genre, the display data looks pretty, but doesn't go beyond adapting to or motivating you towards your fitness goals. So like heart rate and breaths per minute, blood oxygen saturation, and skin temperature data are just that. They're just numbers on charts. Other things on the main menu are smart mode right here, which are toggle switches for your different sensors, and oddly also the alarm. I'm not sure why it's located here. The other thing you find too is smart reminder. That has more toggle switches, and even if you tap the app reminder right here, it'll bring you to even more toggle switches. Now, watch faces is something you're probably interested in, and if you tap that, let it refresh for a second. It's pretty bountiful, and the initial offering actually was pretty boring. They're just kind of plain to look at with like just wallpaper and very minimal amount of data on the screen itself. But a recent update gave us a few more decent ones, so at least they're updating that. Now, if that doesn't suit your fancy, you can always use one of your photos instead. And by the way, syncing watch faces to your watch takes a really long time, so you want to grab a meal or something while you wait. Alright, now it's time for the positives and the negatives. Are you ready? So my top two favorite things about the watch, first of all, is the build quality and the material choices. I love how this thing is put together, guys, from the aluminum frame and how it meets the curve of the glass at the front here. My fingernails barely catch anything. Say, when I compare it with the Wise watch that we looked at a few weeks ago, the link is up above, that one catches a little bit more than this one. The button press is really nice. The PU on this, it won't turn gummy over time, I can predict. And the sensor rate, this is really nice and well put together, and nothing catches on my clothes, or, you know, it's really well made. And I'm glad TICWATCH didn't drop the ball, even though this is their lowest price model. This is their business after all, and I'm glad they stuck with the build quality on this one. The next awesome part is battery life, and this is what I love about watches that don't go with the resource heavy Wear OS or Apple OS or Tizens out there that last maybe 1 or 2 days, 3 days max. These things are like Energizer bunnies. The GTH lasts about 10 days with everything turned on, and this is what I loved about even back in the day with the Amazfit Bip that did 15 days. There's no battery anxiety. You can go on a long trip and not bring your charger and really not worry about it. That's one thing cool about these kind of watches. Now, when it comes to the negatives, one of my biggest beefs is actually with the UI. For some reason, TICWATCH in general, not just the GTH here, but also their newer models like the TICWATCH Pro and such, their menu system and their watch faces are just not the prettiest. I'm embarrassed to show these to my friends half of the time partly because of that, because they look incongruent, they're not very modern, they're just poor choices of fonts and colors. It's kind of weird because the Tic Health menu looks amazing, but everything else looks like an afterthought or something. Like the notification system is a Times New Roman font when everything else is sans serif, and their weather system page looks like graphics out of a Resident Evil game or something. So TICWATCH, you can do something about it, because if Amazfit can hire a design studio to do the graphics, I think you can afford to do it too. So I'm not sure about Apple users, but as an Android person, there's one feature that I really like called Smart Lock. That means I can set up my watch to be a trusted device to keep my phone unlocked at all times, so I don't have to use my PIN number or fingerprint as often. But the GTH doesn't do that. For $80, I was expecting it to do it, and it's a huge miss that it's not there, because even something like the Amazfit Bip does it. So there's one thing I haven't mentioned yet, in case you're wondering, which is the accuracy of the fitness tracking in general. And I'm kind of on the fence on this one, because on one hand, the tracking for steps and heart rate and temperature is really pretty darn close to actual. I'm really impressed with this thing. Only sleep tracking is a little bit optimistic, but everything else pretty darn close. It's not medical grade, mind you, but yeah, you can really rely on this. But on the other hand, I wish this had GPS. That would have opened up the doors for outdoor, for tracking your runs and such and cycling so much more accurately, because if the Amazfit Bit had GPS built in already at a lower price, I think this TICWATCH could have had it too. And a word about the temperature sensor. Right now, the accuracy is set to the 10th decimal. What would be cool, and I have this on good authority, that if you're a woman tracking ovulation, it would be nice if the temperature sensor can go down to the 100th decimal. And that way, and here's a tip TICWATCH and other manufacturers, is right now a lot of you offer menstrual tracking cycles, but it'd be so cool if it offers ovulation tracking as well. So think about that. So here are my final thoughts. I think the TICWATCH GTH is a fantastic device if you're looking for something well built, lightweight, with long battery life, robust tracking, and also some of the latest sensor arrays. Yeah, you should definitely check it out. But on the other hand, there exists the Amazfit BrPM and the BrPM Pro that consistently cost $10 or $20 less anytime. And sure, they don't have the temperature sensor in this one, but they have a better UI as well as, more crucially, GPS. So that's something to consider. But that being said, this thing is a first great outing from TICWATCH, and I hope for the next version. And yeah, this has great potential. So I want to give this a gear up score of 8 out of 10. And this is how I broke it down to get the final score. If you have any questions about it, feel free to comment down below. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode, and I hope you join me next Friday for a new one. It's going to be awesome, I guarantee it. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to this channel. Mash and kill that button down below. Show your support. Turn on the bell notification icon. Tell your friends and family about it. And also, if you're financially able to and would like to see this channel grow, visit my Patreon page down here where you can buy me a cup of coffee or tea or something. And also do the same with the brand new YouTube applaud button down here. And also remember the thumbs up if you like this video, and comment nicely down below. That's super important stuff. And thumbs down. Thumbs down to sinks located outside of public bathroom stalls. Yes, I'm not sure why we have to do our business and zip up our pants, touch our belt, touch whatever we brought into the stall, like backpacks and purses and such, and then wash our hands. We're carrying germs on all the other surfaces except our hands. So that's kind of like a false sense of hygiene. Why can't we be like the Japanese, where they have like sinks in the flusher tanks? That would be super awesome. So thumbs down to sinks located outside of public bathroom stalls. That's just, poor hygiene right there. Anyways, that's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for everything. I hope you have a great weekend. Take care of yourself. Remember to do something kind and loving for somebody, especially a stranger, because the world needs it more than ever, and it starts with you. Peace out. I love you all so much. Adios.